Almost done. How are you? I'll give you a look. Hiya, how are you doing? Jimmy here. Welcome back to part 2 of my rear door surround stroke overhead cabinets video. In video 1 we tidied up the back of the van by boxing in the section over the back doors. Now I'll catch you up on that in a second, but in this video we're going to finish the job by putting overhead cabinets along that wall there. Now they should be called overfeet cabinets because it's going to go over the feet end of the bed. And I've never done this before, so we'll crack on and see how we get on. Well, if you haven't seen part 1, I'll leave a link at the end so you can click on that. It's probably best if you do, actually, for continuity's sake. But what we did in part 1 was to box in the section above the door. This bit around here needs to be boxed in, and because you don't want to be seeing the weight of the van. So we boxed that in and we've carpeted around here because we are eventually going to carpet down here. I'm going to carpet this wall as well. So video 1 was all about that. So video 2, this video, is going to be about putting an overhead cabinet along this wall here. Now we've stopped the cladding there, and the reason for that is I don't really know what the cabinets are going to be like. I don't know the sizes, I don't even know the design. So I've got the coffee ready. I'm going to stay at the wall quite a bit today. Right, before I say a word and open my mouth to say something stupid, I just want to make sure you know I am not a joiner and I've never made cabinets before. I've had a bit of staring at it, and I think the starting point should be the back vertical wall of the cabinet. I've done a very detailed plan, so I think it should be 55.5 inches long and 12.25 inches high. So I found this bit of 1/2 inch ply, obviously left over from another job, and I'm going to cut that. I'm going to attempt to cut that size into this plywood. Now I've checked, because everybody goes on about the factory edges being square. I've checked these corners with the square and they're all perfect. So I'm presuming this was cut by the supplier. So it doesn't really matter which way around it is, because by the time I've made a cut it won't be square. So stop rabbiting on, and I'm going to cut this 55.5 by 12.25, and I'll come back to you. Okay, I've cut that out and it didn't go too badly. I've had to cut a notch out of here, and I've had to round over that edge anyway. But they were square before I cut the notch out and rounded them over. I'll show you when it fits in a second. And I've had to cut 2 notches out of here as well because of the shape of the roof. I cut that with this hand circular saw, and I'm no good at freestyle. So what I did was, I don't know if you can see it in the background. Anyway, I've made I don't know what you call it, a hand circular saw track, and actually I haven't made a very good job of it, but it's done the job today. It's done it really well today. And well, close enough that a blind man on a galloping horse in the fog wouldn't be able to tell. That's how close it is. Right, I'll try this in the van and I'll let you see. You might get a better idea what I'm thinking. Right, let's try it up against the wall and see what it looks like. Now, there's not a lot of room in here, so I hope I don't get in the way of the camera. But that is how it's going to fit in there. And see, that I can't see what I'm filming now, but I'm hoping that's filming the cutout and along and to the, again I can't see what I'm filming here. I hope I'm filming it in the right place. Round it off. Right, you get the gist anyway. So that's now I'm thinking, because this is going to be the main securing point of the cabinet, that this has to be heavier, well, 1/2 inch ply, and I want to get a real good fixing to this wall, because that, as I say, that's the main securing part. There is a beam goes through here, so I will be able to get some sort of fixing in there, and I'm going to hope to get some sort of fixing in here, but I'm not sure how yet. So I think I'm going to have to do a bit more staring, and because I haven't thought that far ahead, I need to find a good way of securing that to this wall. So kettle on, I think. Right, I've come up with a sort of an idea. I'm going to laugh. What it is, I've cut that scrap bit of wood to the same width as the piece of wood that's going to go in there. So it's going to go across like that. And what I did was I put that on there like that and put the wood against it and got the angle. And I don't know if you can see the pencil mark along there. And then I put that in the vise, and I've done it with a little hand plane, and I've planed it off to an angle like that, can you see that? And I've got it pretty close to the line, and I know that's not how a joiner would have done it, but it's the only way I could think of to do it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter, because I've had my workout for today. I won't have to go to the gym now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 4 of them along there, and screws through the wood into there. And not only will that be, as far as I can see, quite a secure fixing, it will be the thermal barrier as well, so you won't be drilling straight into the metal. So 2 birds with 1 stone. What I'm going to do is I'll try and reposition the camera. I'll turn it off and I'll try and reposition it and show you from the side, and you can see it is quite close, just in case you're laughing. Alright, this is going to have to be quick because I've got the camera perched on top of a box, and you know my luck with cameras, so I can't really see the screen, but I'm hoping that you can see that's a good angle. So I'll see if I can replicate that another 3 times, and that'll be the securing points for the wood. Well, I'm pleased that's done. It's hard work on a hot day like today. And can you see the 4 securing blocks? And that's not a securing block. That is because if you're doing this in your van as well, be mindful that you might have wires running along there. So I've just put that in to pick these wires up. I don't know, can you see? So if you put just anything you can get your hands on, just put it in there just to keep the wires off this edge here while you're drilling and screwing these blocks in. The last thing you want to do is drill through the wires. So that's done, and I'm about done in after all that. I don't know whether to put that on or just call it a day. I was just going to show you, I've put those securing blocks in with these really heavy duty screws, and they're the ones that drill at the same time. So you got the drill bit on the end and you drill through. Now they're massive screws. They're probably overkill for this, but the reason I wanted to do that is because I'm not going to put many screws in the bottom, because it's the top one that is important. Because if that is your wall and this is the top and that's the bottom, if you got your cabinets on here and you've got like the weight in them, the weight is going to tend to pull it that way. It's not going to push it that way, it's going to pull it that way. So if you've got good fixings in the top, it's going to pull the bottom into the wall. It's not going to try and pull it away. So the ones you put in the bottom are only to stop it from moving about. They're not really load bearing. So you put that in there. As long as the top ones are all done, I'm just going to put maybe 2-3 screws in the bottom just to hold it in place, so they're actually holding any weight. So that's it. Just thought I'd tell you that. Well, that's a good starting point. I think it's screwed in. It's solid. That is not going to go anywhere. I think we're only going to keep closing there. You think I was going to keep all my weightlifting equipment? We're not going to keep heavy things in there, but it's better to be stronger than you need, and that is, it's shaking the van. It's solid. It's a good starting point for today. Next time I come up, which probably be tomorrow, I'm going to build a frame pretty much like I did with the seat base, the storage under the seat. So I'm going to screw it from the other side, because if you're putting an inch and a half piece of timber onto there, you're screwing it at 1/2 inch. If you do it from the other side, you're screwing it into 1.5 inches, so it's going to be much stronger. So I'm going to take that off, put the start of the base on first, and then build it out. That's up to now. It might change, but anyway, I've had enough for today. I'm cream crackered. It's a very hot day and I've been working hard, so I'm going home. I've got some tins of lager in the fridge with my name on. Well, I came in this morning and I've made a little template with some cardboard for the end of the cabinet. So and then I've copied that onto a piece of wood, and that's the wrong way, that way, and I've copied that onto a second piece of wood for the other end. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a couple of strengthening pieces in. I think they call them braces, where you put a piece into the 90-degree, which should strengthen it. And I'm going to put that on, screwing it in from the other side, and then I'll screw this to the brace. So this and the two end pieces should then go back in one piece. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Well, it might make a bit more sense now. What I was saying before is, these are the things that I've called braces, or brace. It's probably the wrong name anyway, but strengthening pieces. So they are screwed on from the other side, and then this is screwed through that way. Now there's only got one screw in at the minute, so that looks like it's not lined up properly, but when that screw goes in, it will. And then I can put 3 screws in here, because if you've seen my shower video, you'll know there was a framework for the suspended ceiling, which is thick wood, so that would go in there. All these good fixings in here. I've put 2 fixings at the bottom, just as I said yesterday, to hold it in place. It's not load bearing at all. And this one again, when the screw is in, that will push that up. This one is the same as that side. So And it's all done by eye, because spirit levels are no good. You don't know if the van is sitting level. So I was tempted to this morning, and then I thought no. But I was just having a look, and I could have done it with a square from this edge here. And I've just tried it, and it's virtually perfect. But I didn't use that. I actually done it by eye. And I wear glasses. Right, that's what it looks like when it's on the wall, but I'm going to have to take it out because I'm going to have to do other bits and pieces. So I'll take it out and show you what it looks like on a bench. Well, you can see it probably a bit better now that it's on the bench. And now we've got to start thinking about the floor, the bottom. And I was going to use this, and lack of planning again. This is 15 1/4, and that is 16 1/2. So that's not going to work. So what I'm thinking now is, if I make a frame with this wood, like that, and then cut a rebate out, then that floor will sit in the rebate. Now that's probably no problem for a joiner, but I'm not a joiner, but I think I'll give it a go. Right, we're just going to rebate the last piece now, and you do that with the router, with the guard on, and you measure the distance between the guard and the blade, and that is the distance from the edge that your rebate is going to start. And this is the bit we want to take out. Now make sure your piece of work that you're going to be working on is securely clamped, because this can grab the wood and pull. Right, I'll do this on time lapse and I'll show you when it's done. And that's it done. It's well, you can see it's coming along now. The floor's in, although I just glued it, which is why all the weights are on, keeping it in place. I put a little partition up so we can have his and hers, and a little frame that's going to screw to the cabinet, and then the fascia will attach to that little frame. So it's nearly ready for the final fix. I've got to wait for the glue to dry now though, so it won't be today. And that should all go up in one. So there's a little tip I want to show you, and it's quite a handy one. Right, me little tip. Now you've got to imagine that the cabinet is in and you've forgotten to do some wiring. Well, in my case, I'm going to put the solar system in, so I'm going to run the wire along there in the future because I haven't got it yet, and the cabinets will be in by the time I get it. Put some conduit up in the top of in here, and in my case it's going to come out here because all my 12-volt electrics are down here. So you might think that's not very much of a tip. Well, some people might think it is, but that's not really my tip. My tip is, when you put it in, put some string in as well, and the string is going to act as a drawstring. So if you've got all your cabinets in, rather than take them all out and route the wire behind them, just put that in with the drawstring in and leave it, and at any time in the future when you don't know what's going to happen in the future. You might have a wiring fault and you just want to put a new wire in rather than trace the wiring fault. So you don't know. So just leave that conduit in with the drawstring in. Now, the second bit of the tip is when you pull your cable through, tape another piece of string to the cable so that when you draw it through, you've still got another piece of string in. So that's another drawstring, so that you'll always have a drawstring in the conduit. And that'll save you a lot of work taking all your fittings out just to get a wire routed behind them. Also, before I fit the cabinets for the last time, I want to put some insulation in here and a vapor barrier, and then the cabinet can go on. Oh, there's something else. I said at the start that I was going to do this because fitting the bed and then trying to do this, the bed would hamper me doing this bit. So I was just thinking the other day, because the bed has to tilt like that to get the base of the bed, tilt to get in like that. It can't go the other way because we've got the reading lights up there. So it has to go that way. And I was just thinking, I better just check, make sure it can still go in, and it can't. So before I put the cabinets on the wall, I'm going to have to put the base of the bed back in. Well, that's the insulation in now. Now for the vapor barrier. And the vapor barrier. And you'll notice there's two blocks of wood sticking through the vapor barrier. They're not for the cabinet. I don't know if you noticed when I was making the cabinet, there's going to be a little gap at the top back wall of the cabinet. Now it's nothing, and I don't think I'll do anything about it because it's inside the cabinet. But those blocks are just in case I change my mind, and then that'll give me something to screw a batten of wood along just to hide the gap. Well, it's Monday morning. It's the 17th of August, and it's a new start to a new week. Now, there's something different. Can't quite put my finger on it. Yeah, we put the bed of the base in. The base of the bed in, I mean. And that was necessary because when the base of the bed goes through the rear doors, because it obviously can't come in the front doors now, comes in the rear doors, it has to go in at a 45-degree angle because it's wider than the opening of the rear doors. So it would catch on the cabinets if you put it in that way, or catch on the reading lights if you put it in the other way. So we've had no option but to put the base in and work around it. It's going to make it a little bit awkward, but not that much. So as you can see, the cabinets are in and very secure. I could probably hang on them, they're so secure. We need the fascia on, but the runners for the sliding doors haven't arrived yet. They should be here today, I hope, and then we'll get that done. But what we're going to do today is I'm going to carpet this wall and this wall, and I'm going to have to take this black trim off because I want it to go in one piece round there and then behind here. Almost done. How are you? I'll give you a look. Yes, I'm very happy with the way it's turned out. It's amazing what the varnish just finishes it off. And finally got rid of that hideous green wall. That wall was only put in just before we went to Cornwall, and everything was a bit of a rush, and I didn't like it at the time, but we didn't have time to change it. So I finally got rid of it now. Around the post is done, course the bed frame is in. That's better. The carpet on the shower wall was looking a different colour there, but it's not. They're all the same colour. Carpet trim, and this one as well, and managed to get a piece of wood to break the edge between the carpet and the cladding. I didn't film the carpeting or the doing the sliding doors on the cabinets because they've already been done in my other videos. The sliding door was done in the bench seat, and the carpet was done in the bulkhead video. So if you want to see an in-depth how to do those, just go to those two videos and you'll see it there. Take a look from the other side. Just before we take a look from inside, that's what I meant. The carpet on the end of the cabinet looks a different colour, but when you come around here, it's not, it's the same colour. What do you know, I've got two-tone carpet. And just to say again, the sliding doors on the cabinets are exactly the same as the sliding doors on the bench seat, the storage area for the bench seat. Exactly the same. Probably not the same size, but the job is exactly the same. And we've got the bit of wall between the garage and the living area back in now as well, and the little fascia for the keep the mattress in place is back on as well. And there you go, that's the cabinets from this angle, and over the rear doors are all done now. Well, that's the end of another one. I don't know what you think. I'm quite happy with the way that's turned out. So, until next time, you take care. Thank you for watching.